Hello, everyone, and welcome to this year's edition of the Kosher Halftime Show, presented by the Rothenberg Law Firm at InjuryLawyer.com. I hope you've enjoyed the first half of this amazing NFL championship game, the Super Bowl, but now it's time for the Kosher Halftime Show and some real Jewish music excitement. My name is Nachum Siegel. I'm going to be introducing to you one of the young rising stars on the Jewish music scene and debuting his brand new music video. All coming up next after this break at the Kosher Halftime Show. It's Kosher Halftime Show 2025, presented by the Rothenberg Law Firm at InjuryLawyer.com. There are a lot of amazing young Jewish music artists who are making a mark internationally on the Jewish music scene. Today, during this Kosher Halftime Show, we get the opportunity to introduce one of them to you. With great pleasure, I welcome to the Kosher Halftime Show Eli Begun. Eli, welcome.
How you doing, Nachum? Thanks for having me.
A pleasure. Great to have you here. So how did you first make your way into the Jewish music scene?
It's a great question. It took over some time because I started when I was single. I got married around 28, 29, and so when I was single, I was coming out with a little something over here, a little something over here, a song here, a song there.
Ironically called singles.
And once I got married at around 28. I sort of put things on hold because you want to develop your marriage, you want to, you want to raise some kids, and then I decided to go full force with this album. But it was music, as I'm sure people know, was a little bit in my background, and it was something that I always knew I was going to go into in some way, shape, or form, and I got going.
Now, many people know, as you alluded to, that you and your siblings are the product of some very talented people, including your legendary father, your Eli Begun, who means a tremendous amount to all of us in the Jewish music world. Great composer, great entertainer, great arranger and conductor. I would think that someone like you, and maybe others in your family, but we're talking about you right now, I would think that someone like you would be drifting into the Jewish music world very, very early in life. Growing up with a father who's writing these great songs and is leading these great choirs by the age of 4, 5, 6, someone like you was already, getting that feeling, getting hooked onto Jewish music. Was that the case with you, or this took a lot longer to get to?
I was definitely hooked right from the beginning. I'll actually tell you something funny. When I was 10 years old, I made a song called Hamavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol that the Miami alumni had on their album.
So we've played that song.
Oh, so that's my song I made at 10.
You're the composer.
Yeah. So
was that in summer camp you did it, or after school one day? Like when was it done?
When I made the song?
Yeah.
It was just random.
A regular day.
Random singing. That was my first song I ever made, and my father liked it, and he's like, "Oh, let's put it on the album." And my brother actually also made a song, Hananya, called Bayu, and he made it on that also. But yeah, that was my first time. But yeah, music was always something that it was from the beginning. I'm going to concerts, like my whole Chalamoid.
Right.
It's concerts and.
So we must have met before.
We definitely met. I've heard your voice somewhere.
If you've been backstage and I've been backstage, we must have met before. Eli Begun is here. Okay, so the first song, and you just obviously revealed a good part of this in terms of what the alumni did with your selection. But in terms of what we know recently, as you put it, once you got married, started having kids, got back into the Jewish music scene, what's the first single that really made an impact out there?
We Must Go On. That song, We Must Go On, when I made it, it was my first time that I actually came out publicly with something. I always delayed the coming out with any music until I was like 26, 27. Because just like focus, also when you're focusing on learning, I mean, base medrash and you know everything is, you try to leave your focus somewhere else. But at some point you got to get going. So I came out with the song "We Must Go On" with a music video that it did, you know, it definitely made an impact on people, and they felt the authenticity of it, and again, that was my first.
Right.
I would say that was my first moment.
So now, in early 2025, we have a full collection from you, because in the old days we would have called it an album. Now you can call it whatever you want, but you have released a whole bunch of great tunes under one name, right?
Right.
Meaning not your name, but under a title, as you would for an album.
Right.
And in fact, what did you call the album in this case?
I called it Album 1.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Sort of like Eli Begun Volume 1.
Exactly, just Album 1. I'm like, you know, let's, instead of giving it, you know, one song as the feature of it, like, I don't want it to give it that feeling like, oh, there's only one song, which is the song of the album.
Right.
And then it's Album 1, and hopefully, Mitzvah Shem, one day it'll be Album 2.
And it's interesting because that album, and no secret to you, is what got you here. Because there's something about your songs, and again, not to be unfair to other artists, just, you know how it is with music, everyone has their tastes. And for some reason, your product struck me. A lot of great songs, a lot of what sounds like original melodies. And I don't just mean original that no one's written them before, but just a different flavor, a different. I think your father would actually describe it like that. Right? He always had this way of saying that things had a more of a batamt flavor,
Right.
more of a Hamish flavor,
Right.
and a very good choice of words in this case for your individual songs. So this musical attitude, so to speak, is what got you here today.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it means a lot, especially coming from someone who's been there from the beginning.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'm telling you, it's just that for some reason your stuff clicked with me, and it's just very pleasant to listen to.
Yeah, yeah. I try to, you know, like, definitely learn from my father the idea of keeping Jewish music Jewish,
Right.
Which is his thing that
Not everyone finds that easy to do.
Right. And so he's been in the business close to 50 years now,
Right.
and he's somehow throughout the years, from his Toronto Pirchei all the way till now, has kept Jewish music Jewish. It's unbelievable, and somehow he progressed through the years in his style. But I try to do the same thing with keeping things up to date, but still melodic and still something that's neshama based, and try to combine that all together.
Well, it's a great job as far as I'm concerned. And again, one of the reasons we invited you here today. When we come back from this break, we're going to debut a brand new music video, which you were kind enough to really rush in order to, not rush in a bad way, rush in a very creative way in order to debut it with us here, which we very much appreciate. Is this going to be from a song from the collection? What you call it, number one? Eli Begun number one?
This is actually a brand new song.
Nothing to do with that?
Nothing to do with Album 1, a brand new song that I never released. And the song is called Ad Masai. And when I was thinking about how I'm going to make a music video for this, since the song is about Eretz Yisrael and about things that we're going through, my wife, Sarah, is an artist, a professional artist, and she's made many paintings, and a lot of them are Eretz Yisrael, the theme of Eretz
Right.
Yisrael, it's the Kosher.
Hold that thought, because after this break, I want to explain to some people just how serious her artistry has been when it comes to Israel. We're going to get into that in just a second. We have Eli Begun here. We're going to debut his brand new video coming up. Ad Masai is the name of the song. It's Kosher Halftime Show 2025, presented by the Rothenberg Law Firm. Back after this break here at the Kosher Halftime Show.
Grit is what it takes to push through the pain. The only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. Putting in the hours now to silence all my haters later. You think you got me? No, no. What fuels me? Manischewitz.
It's Kosher Halftime Show 2025. My name is Nachum Siegel. We're being presented by the Rothenberg Law Firm at injurylawyer.com. And today is a big day for us because Eli Begun, one of the young shining stars in the Jewish music world, is debuting a brand new song and video with us. And if you were listening before the break, what you told us, Eli, is that you're actually doing this video, number one, with Israel in mind, which is extremely important to us at this time. I wouldn't do a Kosher Halftime Show now without some type of tip of the hat, so to speak, to our brothers and sisters in Israel. But you also said that your wife's artistry, her artistic pieces, are part of the video. And earlier you were telling us that there many of the artistic works that she has are Israel-based or Israel-themed, but there's one in particular that was done with the hostages who are being held captive by the enemy in mind. So it's not just a theme of Israel, it's also a theme for the pain that so many people around the world are going through as we watch this whole thing unfold over there.
Yeah, there's one painting that she made that literally shocked people. She wrote all 1,400 names of the people that died on October 7th. She sat there writing every single name, and she made a painting with a menorah, which you'll see in the video, as one of the paintings that are going to be.
So I should correct myself. It's not even. It's more than that. Not just hostage related. It's related to everybody.
Oh, no, the whole thing, the whole story. Yeah, and she went through every single name. I remember at one point there was a bunch of names that she felt wasn't aligned correctly. She erased 1,000 names and redid it. It was crazy. No one's ever made a painting like that. So this
artists can be perfectionists.
Artists can be perfectionists. I've heard this.
All type of art.
Art is art.
That's true.
And so I decided in this music video to sort of combine two worlds, the Judaic music world and the Judaic art world, bring them together. It's never been done before in the music video to have an original Jewish song together with Jewish art. It's never been done, and I put it together and see what people think.
And in an interesting way, it's a husband-wife team doing this, obviously in an unusual way.
Right.
But it's just incredible to include her art and at the same time, obviously, present your song. Ad Masai, words first or melody first? How did the song develop?
The way I always make my songs, I think my father's a little bit similar, or I'm similar to him, is that it's always like the hook of the song or the high part of the song always has some words to it. Like let's say over here, Ad Masai, right? So I knew I wanted a song that's gonna fit that theme, and the notes that I made, the tune that I made, was something that was gonna fit that. But it's the same thing with all, like so We Must Go On. It was something that I came up with right away. So it's always the tune first, usually the tune together with a hook, and then the words afterwards. That's usually how it is.
I think other composers would find that interesting because I would think that other composers generally have, and I don't know if I'm right or not, but I think they generally have the melody down and then they start searching for words. They get into that panic situation of how are they going to fit words into this song.
Right. No,
but you're saying you're not even sitting down to write without some type of idea of words in your head.
Correct. Yeah. There's always, because I always know what the theme of the song is going to be about. I'm not a lyricist. I'm not someone who's going to be able to put down every single word, but I know what it's going to be about. And usually, like all the songs on my album, they were all an idea that I put out there as a tune, as a melody, and then afterwards completed it. So let's say, for example, my father's "Light Up the Nights." "Light Up the Nights" were his words, and then after that, everything else is built around that. So I try to compose in that same way. It's naturally how I do it.
All right, Ad Masai. Don't have to tell this audience why it's so appropriate for Israel. Beautiful art in this video, which we're going to see as we debut it. Obviously, again, credit to your wife for that. And a brand new song, which has to be exciting for you. Even with all those that you've released recently, it's got to be a great feeling when you're debuting a brand new one.
Yeah. It's brand new. It's a special song, I think, that really portrays a lot of what's going on in the world, and to give that feeling that there's still hope.
100%. We keep asking Ad Masai. Eli Begun has put it to words and a beautiful melody, and of course with a wonderful visual in this video, which we're debuting now. The world debut of Eli Begun's video Ad Masai right now at the Kosher Halftime Show.
Yehi ratzoi milfanecha, Hashem Elokeinu ve'Elokeinu אבויסנו שגיבון בייס המקדוש במהרה בימינו בשכל חלקנו בסוירה שכר ושם נעבודך ביראה ושם נעבודך ביראה כי מעילמך שנים קדמוני יויס השם המסאי השם המסאי קבצנו יחד מייבא כנפי סורץ השם המסאי השם המסאי עם כל זרח אלוהי בכל יום שיבוא יהי רצוי לפניך השם אלוקינו ואלוקי אבויסנו שגיבור בייס המקדוש במהרה בימינו בשכל חלקנו בסוירה שכר ושם נעבודך ביראה ושם נעבודך ביראה כי מעילמך שנים קדמוני יויס השם המסאי השם המסאי קבצנו יחד מייבא כנפי סורץ השם המסאי השם המסאי עם כל זרח אלוהי בכל יום שיבוא ועם כל זה יחג אלוהי בכל יום אוי בכל יום שיבוא השם המסאי השם המסאי קבצנו יחד מייבא כנפי סורץ השם המסאי השם המסאי ויקבצנו יחד מייבא כנפי סורץ השם המסאי השם המסאי עם כל זרח אלוהי בכל יום שיבוא
Well, there you have it. That's the brand new Eli Begun selection, Ad Masai, with the beautiful video. Again, a tip of the hat to his wife, Mrs. Begun, who is responsible for some of the beautiful artwork you saw in that video. Eli, what do you think? Now that it's out there and now that people are able to enjoy it, what are your feelings?
I hope people connect to it the way that I did, the way that my wife did. I think it's very special putting these two worlds together, and hopefully the message has been portrayed.
Well, I think you're off to an amazing start. Your compositions are beautiful. It's what got you here, as I keep joking with you. And the video is great. And I'm glad we've had this opportunity to introduce you to a lot of people out there and to have this conversation.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure. Eli Begun, everybody, at Kosher Halftime Show 2025. Hope you enjoyed the debut of his brand new video. Our thanks to our entire staff and, of course, the Rothenberg Law Firm at injurylawyer.com for presenting another great Kosher Halftime Show. Thanks very much, everybody. My name is Nachum Siegel. Enjoy the second half of the game. And always remember to keep on listening to the Nachum Siegel Network.